welcome back to our last segment with Debbie Faris, and all about how you can get involved and just really getting to know our team, and really in being part of the cool kids. We're the cool team, okay? So anyway, but Deb, so we were talking about you were part of Defend Florida, and then you found WIN because of Tatiana.
Well, I was already part of WIN.
You were part of it.
I was already part of WIN.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that Sue's going to teach you, you're going to learn a lot, but
It's all action.
It's all action. It's very frustrating to know and not do. And we're doers. So I learned a lot from Sue. And one of the things that I learned was the fact that this blows my mind, but 5 phone calls in a legislative official's office gets their attention. And 20 phone calls constitutes a crisis. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
Why would that be a crisis, Sue?
I don't know.
Because no one calls and no one does nothing.
Nobody gets in, yeah. Well, I think sometimes too, and let's go back to our first segment where we were talking about, I think Americans, and I'm sorry if I offend you, but I'm just going to speak truth here. Americans are in a bubble, and we think that's not going to happen here. This is America. Because we are so beyond blessed. We are just the least wealthy person in America is so wealthy compared to the world. And so we're just in a bubble, and we don't get involved because it doesn't affect us. We think everything's going to work out. And so, but go ahead with the call one day.
So I learned that my phone call is equivalent to 100 silent voters. So if we got 20, 30, 40, that would be significant for some legislators.
Mm-hmm.
And it so happened that when we were very frustrated with what was going on with the election integrity bill, because we were getting dismissed, I was like, okay, how can I marry these two things together? How can I let them know?
Didn't I talk to you about, I had been having an idea for a long, long time. I didn't know how to do this, but you need somebody like Debbie to come and fix it. But I kept thinking, if everybody would call, like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, if your name was from A to H, you call on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yes.
Or this for this would call on Wednesday. And then if your name was from T to Z or something, you'd call on Wednesday. But that's confusing. And Debbie comes up with
call one day.
And
that came up because my background is also in marketing, and I worked for one of the top CEOs chairman actually of marketing organizations, advertising. And there was an initiative many years ago called Peace One Day, where troops would go, there would be a ceasefire so that health officials or health workers could go in and vaccinate or to take care of the wounded or whatnot. It's called Peace One Day, 1 day of peace. So that's where I got inspired, and I call one day. So what Call One Day does is it gives you a script, very short, because when you taught me about the power of a call, I did it, but I was nervous. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what the phone number. I had to research. I'm like, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So Call One Day provides you with the phone number and basically the script, and it's very short. All you have to do is read it. The beauty of it is that, number one, I've learned I'm never really going to talk to Governor DeSantis. He's not going to take my call, but I will talk to an aide or a staffer. And I have the opportunity to educate these young minds with this information. And then those staffers start talking. They really have to take down whatever you're called about. It's a consumption of resources. And so this is how we elevate in one accord, everybody's voice.
And you're planting a seed to those young people that are on the phone, and then we're making a difference. It's just a call. It'll take you not even 5 minutes. You can even do it in the evening.
I used to do it in Carline when I was waiting for my son to pick him up. I'm like, okay, time to call. Just put it on. You don't even have to dial. You just click at it and it dials. We have all this technology nowadays. And
well, it was awesome that Debbie came up, making it succinct to the point, and everybody can make a phone call. Everybody. And you have to understand that our legislative officials, our congressmen, our senators, anybody that works for the government, they work for you. They work for we the people. And I think we've forgotten that. And so they need to be reminded. And I remember the first time I started thinking, because I've been a phone caller for decades. And I remember, I won't mention the congressman's name, but he used to say, Sue, when we would get 75 phone calls, we'd be paying attention. And I'd be like, that's it? Then I had a congressman in North Carolina say, Sue, when we got 5 phone calls on one subject, we'd be paying attention. So I thought, well, you know what? Everybody sits around their house. They don't know what to do. They're all upset. But where's the action? So that's what we like to do at WIN, and we want you to go to our website, womenimpactingthenation.org, get involved. We're going to give you action steps. We talk truth and we take action. And this is a very, very simple action step. We're not asking you to, sit on a street corner
or canvass or knock on doors, which is what we were doing, or visit a legislator. I mean, those are other actions that you can take.
You can take it if that's your bent. Some people will do that, but we're trying to make it so simple that every single person can take this action. You can make a phone call. So years ago, I started calling. I would call literally every congressman, every senator, whether they were my senators or not, because I figured they're a U.S. senator. Well, they may be from Georgia or Pennsylvania or Utah, whatever, but they still are a U.S. senator. And every vote that they make impacts us, exactly. So I would make those phone calls, and then I thought, gosh darn. So I remember, I'm going to tell you a very quick story because stories are fun. And my son wanted to take me. He wanted me to take him to Naples. He was meeting with some people, and as moms, we always want to get in the car with your kids. If your kids ask you to do something and get in the car, get in the car. Doesn't matter if you're busy or whatever, just do it, because that's when you're going to bond with your children. And parents need to get involved with their kids today. Stop the phone, stop all that, because we're getting all the nonsense. But anyway, so I said, sure. So it was a 2-hour, 2.5 hour drive, whatever. And I thought it was just maybe a short meeting, and because he was having his business over there. And I said, okay, well, when should I come pick you up? He said, well, Mom, it's going to be probably about 3.5 to 4 hours. I went, 3.5 to 4 hours? What am I going to do for 3.5 to 4 hours? And he said, Mom, do what you always do. Make phone calls. So you really are impacting your children. They are seeing what you're doing. So if you're on your phone all the time, that's what they're going to do. But if they see you doing something for the legacy, and that's another topic we're going to be talking about at another date, is legacy, is what are you leaving your children? What are you doing? And because we live in the greatest country on the face of the planet, we know in the last other 2 segments that we've talked about, we come from, socialist country. We know what it's like, and we want to be able to really educate you all that we don't want you to have to live it, because we've already lived it.
Well, you don't have to go too far. In my generation, when I lived in Venezuela was in the top 10 economies of the world. Mm-hmm. We had all the Miss Universes coming out galore. Mm-hmm. And we truly lived country in a land of plenty. Mm-hmm. And look, in one generation, that country will never recover. Mm-hmm. What I remember, my children will never experience, nor will the Venezuelans. A generation has been ruined. That's right. And they think 10 years ago was the good times. Yeah. Like, you have no idea what the good times were. Mm-hmm. We don't want that to happen to this country. Yes. Where, remember when we had freedom? Mm-hmm. Remember when we could speak freely? Mm-hmm. Remember when we had food and we did not have to eat bugs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, and it will get. If we continue to become apathetic, disengaged, and disinterested, I'm telling you, where are you going to go from here? Everybody in the world wants to come here, but where do you go? So, but going back to the call one day, your children are going to be watching you. And so all we're doing here at WIN is, number one is I want you to get to know Debbie, because you're going to be seeing her on our podcast. You're going to be seeing all of our other team members. It's not always going to be me. But how to get on call one day.
How to get on call one day is, and then because call one day is not just Florida, it's also around the country.
Yes. So I have to, if you're in Florida, you will text the word SPEAK to 91776. And if you're outside of the state of Florida, text the word CALL to 91776. And immediately you'll get it, fed through the system, and then you'll start receiving your scripts.
It's so simple. It's amazing how you can get involved by doing that. And that's one action step. And then, so we have call one day, and then, obviously, Deb, tell our audience, what makes you be a part of WIN? What do you like about WIN? Women Impacting the Nation.
Well, number one, I love the education. I'm learning every time I participate, I learn more. I'm getting real information that is relevant on so many topics. And then at the end of the day, action. What are we going to do about this? Because I'm a doer. Some people are thinkers, I'm a doer. So,
well, you're also a thinker too. I mean, yeah, you've got it all going on there. But it's been really awesome to get, have our audience get to know you a little bit better, Debbie, a little bit about your mindset, where you came from. And you can be an engineer, you can have your master's, you can be a mom, you can be a widow, she's hit all the gamuts. You can be from overseas, and yet look at the difference that she's making. And we always talk about when we show up, we win. And obviously, Debbie, you've shown up mightily, and I'm so grateful that you're part of our team. And we would love for you to be part of our team. So go to womenimpactingthenation.org, whether you're a man or a woman, we want everybody, because together, when we show up, we're going to win. So go to womenimpactingthenation.org, and we will see you in our next podcast. And God bless you all. Thank you for being with us today.